We're beginning Principle 11 on page 29, Spiritual Companions. To reach the goal of loving everyone in the world as much as we love ourselves, we first need to be able to love our friends as much as we love ourselves. The general principle of all of the Torah is Ve'afta l'recha kamocha, often translated as love your neighbor as yourself. It also can be translated as love your friend as yourself. L'recha, your friend. Ve'afta l'recha kamocha, to love your friend as yourself. Right, our natural desire is to love ourselves, to want to get for ourselves. And our deepest divine self, our inner nature, our truest nature, the aspect of God nature within ourselves, is the aspect of loving beyond ourselves. And so learning how to love our friends as ourselves, loving others as ourselves, is the root of everything that we're going through. So he says to start again. To reach the goal of loving everyone in the world as much as we love ourselves, we first need to be able to love our friends as much as we love ourselves. The first step is to form a small group of close friends who want to work together towards the goal of truly loving one another. It is important to choose friends we feel close with, and only people who are serious about doing this work. The group of friends meets regularly for spiritual learning and to discuss ways to develop love and cooperation between the friends. Okay, so here, this principle is the idea that in our spiritual development, it's very important to find some other people that we can work on the spiritual growth together with. To find at first a few other people that we can actively, starting with these people, try to learn to actually love them. Of course, you want to reach a place of loving everybody. But loving isn't just a word to say, I love everybody, I have good feelings for everybody. Loving means doing. Loving somebody means I would take what I would rather have for myself and give to you because I love you so much. So to actually love everybody in the world is a nice thing to say, but that's a super high level. So first, the idea is to learn how to love a few other people. To love them to the level that their happiness is our happiness. Their problems are my problems. Right? To actually love them the same way we love ourselves. The same way we're concerned about our problems, to be concerned about their problems. Not an easy thing. So he's saying here the first step is forming a small group of friends who want to do this spiritual work together. It's important to choose friends we feel close with. First, to do this work, we want to do with people that we resonate with. And we want to find people that are serious about doing the work. Even a couple other people, 3 people can already be a group to start working together. The idea of the group work is to meet together regularly. At least once a week would be a good start. And during the times together to learn spiritually together, to learn from holy books about all of the transformation that we're working on, to inspire us in what we're working towards, and to have the goal in mind to actively be through this relationship, to be trying to grow the love between the people in the group. That the work is to realize that the truth is we're starting right now and each of us is loving ourselves. And what we want to try to gain from this group is learning how to love everybody else in the group in a real way, in a deep way. So this group work is actually the putting into practice what we're learning about, trying to actually actualize it in a very focused way. Of course, all of our learning, we're trying to actualize it every moment of our life. But the idea of starting a small group to do the inner work together is in a very focused way to actively have some other people that we're learning with together and trying to work at first, even just among ourselves, to love in a very deep way the other people in the group. It says, while the goal is to reach the place of truly loving everyone in the world, at first the work towards loving others is focused primarily on this group of friends. We strive to focus on the good points of the other members of the group and try to think only good thoughts about each other. We strive to relax our ego and consider all the other friends extremely important people, more important than ourselves. We strive to be concerned with the needs of our friends to the same extent that we are concerned with our own needs. Right? When we come together with our group of friends, we're trying to actively and consciously focus on all of their good points, try to realize that these are very, extremely important people that are together with me. Try to imagine that each person in the group is the most important person in the world. Trying to actively see every person as exalted divine souls, which we actually are. But with our group of friends, every person is trying to consciously, actively work towards awakening ourselves to love of each other. It said, we strive to be concerned with the needs of our friends to the same extent that we are concerned with our own needs. Right? So again, love it's a nice concept, but what it means is actually being concerned for other people in the way of doing for them. When a friend behaves in a way we don't like, the work is to judge our friend favorably, the same way we judge ourselves. Just as we find reasons to justify our behavior when we do something wrong, we need to do the same for our friends. The reason it's easy to judge ourselves favorably and more difficult to do so with our friends is because love covers over all misdeeds. Since we love ourselves, we naturally overlook what we are doing wrong. The difficulty in doing so with our friends comes from not yet loving them as much as ourselves. The work to develop our love for our friends is a deep, practical, day-to-day spiritual work. Right? We're making mistakes all the time, doing things wrong. But we have endless reasons and excuses of why we did what we did. But when we see other people doing things that are wrong, so we don't naturally try to think of all the different reasons why they might have done what they did. So he says the reason we do that is we love ourselves so much naturally that we find reasons to excuse what we've done, what we're doing. But because we don't yet love the other people so deeply. So we're not yet, looking for all the reasons to cover up and to explain why they did what they did. So, of course, we want to try to be doing this with everybody, but at first the idea is that we have a group of friends that we're consciously focused on trying to see the best in them, awaken our love for them in the deepest way that we can. It says the work to develop our love for our friends is deep, practical, day-to-day spiritual work. Right? Although in this actual meeting with, let's say we're only meeting with these particular friends once a week or something like that, but the idea is to be thinking in this group work, to be trying to think about them all the time, how we can help them, to keep the connection with them way beyond just the, once a week that we're meeting together, but that they become what we're actively working on in developing our love that goes beyond ourselves. Like we mentioned before, he said the Rebbe Baruch Shalom that he hasn't yet met a person that paces back and forth concerned, what can I do for my friends? The same way that we think about, okay, what do I need to do today to take care of? To start to make some time in our life, in our day, where we think, okay, how could I help my friends today? Is there something I could do that would be helpful for them? So this is a practical, day-to-day working on ourselves to develop our love in a very real way. When we succeed in loving our friends as ourselves, we can then try to widen the circle more and more until eventually we are able to love every single person in the world as ourselves. There's an idea of small groups of people that are working on this together throughout the world, which there are now. And these groups eventually widening the circles, expanding, and more groups. And through all of these small, focused workings together to learn and develop our ability to love beyond ourselves, then eventually the circles can widen, and till eventually, God willing, we can all reach the place of truly loving beyond ourselves. There's a major aspect of the spiritual work of love your friend as yourself is the work between spouses to give selflessly to each other, fulfill each other's needs, give each other deep respect, and truly love one another. So the work between spouses is very central in all of Jewish spiritual practice. And because it's somebody that we're with all day long. And the work between spouses is ultimately, throughout the lifetime together, is to learn to truly love one another. Throughout the entire lifetime of relationship, the idea is to be more and more building the ability to love beyond our own personal self and have the relationship rooted in what the other person is fulfilling of my needs, to reach the place where the relationship is rooted in how we can each love truly beyond ourselves, to truly love each other. So our spouse we're with, all the time. So that's the deepest inner spiritual work of learning to love beyond ourselves that we're constantly able to practice in a practical and real way. So that inner sanctuary of the spiritual work between spouses is at the heart of all of our work to love beyond ourselves. Then there's family. Then there's the group of friends that we're trying to actively work on our spiritual development with. Then expanding the circle to all the people where we live, that we're surrounded with, that we come into contact with, and to eventually, God willing, be able to widen the circle more and more. Okay, so we'll end for now, and God willing, next time go on to principle number 12.